What is up? Welcome to another edition of SacTown Movie Buffs. Once again, I'm Kier, and this is Jason. And today we are back reviewing a new film that is only playing in theaters at this current time. And that film is actually going to be Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Long title there, but you know that's
a good title.
Yeah, it's a good. No, it's a great title. I mean, it's definitely a very it's just long. That's all. So. I say without further ado, I say we get right into it. I'll go ahead and take this one on. So everybody knows pretty much the story of Doctor Strange, and this one is actually I think it's only the second part. I think there's only been one other Doctor Strange film, correct?
Yeah.
So this one actually takes place post Endgame as opposed to Black Widow, which was before Endgame kind of thing. So this is also post Endgame, I guess, if you will. And even I think it's even after that last Spider-Man film, basically. So if we're going in order, so just case
it's really it's really more of a sequel to WandaVision and the last Spider-Man movie than it is to the first Doctor Strange.
Yeah, so I was actually going to say it's called Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, but in my opinion, is actually
WandaVision 2.
WandaVision 2, in my personal opinion. So not to go, too crazy into the storyline, but basically, a girl appears somewhere in the movie who's being basically attacked by monsters. Doctor Strange and his sidekick basically come in to help her. They end up finding like this girl is basically can teleport through like multi-universes, but there's like an evil being or force that's after her. And I don't think it's much of a spoiler to say that force ends up actually being Wanda or the Scarlet Witch or whatever you want to call her, that's actually after her because she basically wants to get the powers that this girl has to basically travel to multi-universes. Not going to go into the full detail of why she wants it, but basically that's the nutshell of the story. And Doctor Strange is basically, in a nutshell, trying to prevent Wanda or the Scarlet Witch basically from catching this girl and stealing her powers. But in order to do that, they have to travel through multi-universes in order to find this book that supposedly will help them and aid them in battling her and stopping her. Pretty much the story. So I hope I'm going into crazy details of it. So just to make a long story short, I didn't really care for that much. I thought it was just okay. You know what I mean? Like, it's billed as a Doctor Strange film, but I mean, he's kind of a background character, in my opinion, in this film. It's really more about, Wanda and, her quest for wanting to get these powers for various reasons. She has a specific reason why she wants to get the powers, but I don't want to go into full details. But she basically becomes full villain in this film, and that's basically they're trying to stop her, but they're not as powerful as she is, so they're trying to get help with like sorcery and magic and books and things of this nature. But for me, I don't know. It was directed by Sam Raimi, who I like. It's a great director, and he definitely adds some darker elements to the film, if you will. But in my opinion, it just wasn't that great of a film. It still comes across as very low stakes, in my opinion. Like almost every Marvel film that I've seen, it's very low stakes. It's almost like the Captain America Civil War, where they're like infighting and fighting with each other, but in your heart of hearts, you don't believe that any of these characters are really gonna die or something earth-shattering is really going to happen. And that's kind of how I felt about this one, without giving too much into the spoiler realm of the film. But I just didn't feel like the stakes were really high, and I kind of knew the entire time that the stakes weren't going to be high, just because I know how these films go. It's like, yeah, they're enemies, but that they're also both have good hearts and and things of this nature. So you kind of know that the stakes aren't going to be exactly. You kind of just know. And I just kind of basically I felt about it. I just thought it was just okay. Another run of the mills, Marvel film that's going to do $1 billion at the box office. Of course, it was this big hit that everybody's, of course, saying was great. And although this one does have some lower reviews, I will say, than some of the previous films. Some of like the last Spider-Man, which got like a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think this one is a little bit lower, like at 75 or something like that. So this one definitely is a little bit more polarizing for Marvel. It's a little more polarizing for Marvel. There are a lot of people that I personally know that didn't really care for it, and I'm probably in that camp as well. I just thought it was okay. It didn't, it's not as long as some of the other ones. It's just a little bit over 2 hours, so there's that. But I just didn't care for it overall. There was just nothing really happens. And, I thought I'm watching a Doctor Strange film, but, he's really not that central to the story, in my opinion. Other than he's like trying to help this girl who can, basically teleport through universes or whatever. But it's kind of really more her story, and it's really more of a Wanda's story. So I really feel like it should have just been the WandaVision movie or the Scarlet Witch movie or something of that nature, because, I really don't know why he was even necessarily needed. He was about as needed in this film as he was needed in the Spider-Man No Way Home. You know what I mean? Like if we want to be technical, he was about as needed in both of those films. You know what I mean? He basically just sets up the presence of this multiverse universe, but really, I don't know how needed he really was. And at the very end, you really realize that he really wasn't needed. So.
Yeah.
Just my take. Thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I agree. I'm so tired of these movies, to be honest. And frankly, I envy the people that aren't, you know what I mean? Like, cause I know a lot of people that would just watch these movies all day long, every day, and watch them in order over and over. And, and just get so excited about each one. And I kind of envy those people because I just don't have it. Like, I'm not interested,
Yeah.
And this is like my least favorite type of Marvel movie, which is, I on these videos, it makes me sound like I hate Marvel or something like that. I don't. I like quite a few of them. But I realize like the ones I do like are kind of the standalone ones, or like the ones that have actually some kind of focused story. But this is one of those that I can't stand, where it's just like, it doesn't have its own story. All it is other stories,
Mm-hmm.
Inroads to future stories and connecting from earlier stories. And it's just, look at the poster. It's just noisy. It's just, there's too much going on. It all doesn't make any sense to me because I don't read comics. I'm never going to read comics. And, I've seen all the movies, so I can, and actually I really did like WandaVision. I liked the first Doctor Strange. So you would think I would be all up for WandaVision too, but it's not the same kind of thing. It's just kind of one of those Marvel movies where there's just too many characters, too many stories. Just the only purpose it serves is to connect this story to that story and lead into this story. And it's all just a waste of time, honestly. You know what I mean? It just, I get bored in those, there's nothing for me to connect to. I was initially kind of excited for this because it is Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi is one of my favorite filmmakers. I've been an Evil Dead fan since I was 8 years old, Drag Me to Hell, A Simple Plan, The Gift, the first two Spider-Man movies from back in the early 2000s. I love, so, and there was this, all this hype about like, oh, this is the first like Marvel horror movie, or, it's got real horror elements. And I will say, like, it does have like a few Raimi touches, it really, it does, has the requisite Bruce Campbell cameo. And, it's got some, surprisingly, I will say, for a Marvel movie, some gory moments. I will say that kind of surprised me a little bit, but but it wasn't enough to make it an interesting movie. And frankly, all those little Raimi touches did was make me want to watch literally any other Sam Raimi movie instead. You know what I mean? Like, why would I watch this thing to get those little touches when I could go home and pull off the shelf?
Yeah, real deal. If you're gonna try to go horror or whatever, then I feel like you need to fully commit to it. Also, I don't feel like I feel like you just add a little sprinkle here and there of a few things, and like, oh, it's completely darker, it's edgier. You know what I mean? But it's really a Marvel film, and you threw in some flashes of original type Sam Raimi touches in there, which I mean, maybe it came out better than it would have had another canon director, jumped in and did this. Because with these films, I mean, really anyone can direct these films. I feel like for the most part, any prominent director could probably do one of these films because they're so formatic. They're just so, it's just all formula. And, the problem with this one is I keep saying that Scarlet Witch is the villain or Wanda's the villain, but they're in a nutshell, there really isn't a villain in this one, so it's hard to really even like identify or really root for anybody when the story there's not really a particularly a villain really. You know what I mean? I mean there are some minions that that pop up that that they do have to fight in battle, but ultimately there's not really a real prominent villain. There's no Thanos or anyone else that you really can pinpoint and say, okay, this person's the villain. Can't wait to see this person do battle in the end. You know what I mean? But it's just not the case in this film. So.
Yeah, and it's just like I just tune out. I mean that's all I did. I mean, like I actually fell asleep toward the end for a few minutes. I think because there's just like there's no story. I mean, like, a lot of stuff happening all the time is not the same thing as a good story.
Right.
So this movie definitely has a lot of stuff happening all the time.
The visuals are great. It's really, appealing to see, them travel through, a bunch of green screen.
I guess.
You know what I mean?
I guess. It's just chaos. Like the poster. It's just like...
then they go to all these different worlds and things of this nature. But, I mean... The way I look at it is, if you're if you have any kind of real disconcerting taste, you'll see the flaws in these. But I guess if you're a Marvel person, if this is your jam, you just pretty much have loved every Marvel film. You soak up all of the films that come out for the most part. Then you're probably gonna like this. You know what I mean? That's the way I feel. I feel like the people that are pro Marvel or pro Marvel camp, and I've talked to a few of them, those are the types of people that are going to say, oh, this was great, it was fantastic. And I've seen some of them in the comments and different social media sites and stuff like that just say it was amazing and it was so epic and and it was so dark and gory and they had zombies and you know what I mean and all this stuff and you're just like, yeah, but was the story really that good? I mean, be honest with yourselves. Is it a great story? I just don't see it. I don't see it being a great story. Like I said, it was low stakes, and I really went into it with an open mind, even though I admittedly am getting a little Marvel fatigue because they churn out a new Marvel movie almost once every other month or once every month, and like I said, I don't think this will be the last Marvel movie that even comes out this year. I mean, it's when we haven't even got into summer yet. I don't know what else is on the horizon, but I just know that they're constantly churning out these films and. I feel like they're all kind of the same. They all kind of run together, and in 2 years,
especially this kind, that's only all it serves as a connector piece between other things. It doesn't have its own thing going on.
And that's the problem with a lot of these Marvel movies. They're just kind of setups to get you to the next
connector
thing.
Pieces.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like okay, we got to introduce some new characters. And in order to do that, we need these guys to introduce these new characters because we're going to do something else with this story later. Just wait. It's going to get better, 2-3 films from now.
And pay for that one too.
Yeah. Pay for, all these 2-3 films that are coming out because eventually, we're going to get to the point where it's going to be some other super villain in some other universe. I already see it coming. It's going to be some super villain in some other super universe or something of this nature that they're going to have to fight, like in the last video, some new guy is going to pop up, Skippy Flippy or whatever. It's going to pop up and say, you will bow to me. You know what I mean? It'll be some dude like this that's going to come up, or girl or whoever is going to come up. And that's kind of where they want to lead you in that direction. Because they have these movies mapped out probably all their way to. That's why I look at those charts. I think to like 2025 or something like that. They have
my God.
These movies just like slotted to come out over the next 3-4 years. So they already know exactly what they're doing, and they know that they're cash cows though, dude. They know they're cash cows. They know that they're gonna make close to $1 billion every single one of them. So they're just counting the money. They're just like, what, we're gonna release another 20 Marvel films over the next 5 years. They're all going to do close to $1 billion or over $1 billion, and we're just going to be raining in dough, and everybody's going to say these movies are so great and so amazing, and they know that.
Yeah, when I see those charts, I just get so depressed.
Yeah, because they don't have to break the formula, and I know that we're sounding like we're ragging on Marvel, but I do like a lot of their films. There are a lot of good ones. Don't get me wrong. There's definitely some diamonds in the rough there, but there's just so many of them. I just get so fatigued. They all kind of run together. And it's just like even the good ones. The problem with that is then they want to throw the good characters in with these other characters so they can get their couple of minutes in there. So you got to throw these guys in here. With the end games and all the other stuff and the Civil Wars and all these other ones. They have to throw all these guys in as well to give them like their 5 minutes of screen time in this over bloated long film. So
yeah, you know what? You're actually making me think it's kind of a pattern because it's like because they tend to kind of, in my opinion, kind of take a good standalone or like introductory piece and then just kind of turn it into junk with these kind of movies because it's like they did it with actually the first Marvel movie where I started to feel this way was actually Captain America Civil War.
Yeah, that's the first one. That's the one that started it. Yeah.
I like the first two Captain America movies, especially the second one. The second one's damn good. And then the third one, it's not even really like this one. It's not even really a Captain America movie. It was really another Avengers movie that was just a bunch of crap happening.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that was the first one where I kind of like was like, this is not even really a Captain America movie. They're just jumbling all this crap in here. And they did that again with this because I liked the first Doctor Strange movie. This isn't really a Doctor Strange movie. It's just a junk sequel. Yeah. And then they did it, in my opinion, I know I'm in the minority here, but I really liked the first two Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. And then they did it with No Way Home. It's barely, I mean, it is a Spider-Man movie for sure, but instead of continuing the first two movies, they just wanted to junk it up with 1,000 other movies mixed together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
that's the playbook. Even the new what is it, Love and Thunder or whatever it is, the new Thor one that's coming out, because he's been palling around with the Star-Lord guys and all those guys, the Guardians of the Galaxy guys. So he's been palling. So they're going to be in that film. You know what I mean? And it's just like, okay, I really like the Guardians of the Galaxy. Why do we have to do, why can't they just be their own, individual things? But it's like this thing where it's like everybody wants all the Marvel and Disney characters to come together. And DC does the same thing. Don't get me wrong. They do the same thing. They just did it better with Justice League, in my opinion, at least the Zack Snyder's version. Yeah. But, they want to get all the superhero characters together in the films. And, that's all they're doing now, because almost every single superhero film that comes out from Marvel now, they got to have another Marvel character in there somewhere at some point. It's like this person just can't, whoever the new hero is, they just can't do a film on their own. It's like, oh, no, we got to, we got to throw in somebody just, because we can't have just this person. We got to keep that, Avenger, series rolling, by just still giving you touches of superheroes. So,
yeah. Yep.
So that's it.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to get anywhere, but it was a good discussion.
No, it was a great rant. They're still going to turn out, more movies. This movie's already on its way to make $1 billion. So, I mean, what are you going to say? And then Love and Thunder will probably make $1 billion also, even though I just complained about it before even seeing it.
I always hold out hope for it. You know what I mean? Like, it's so funny. Like almost every new Marvel movie that comes out, I go see it. And then like at the beginning, they always start out really good. Like this one starts out really good. And I'm always like, oh man, this is really good so far. Maybe this will be the one that really, that really shows me the lights. You know what I mean? But then like not every time, but with ones like this, especially like halfway through, I'm just like, I just don't care. I don't care. It's all this just stuff happening. And I'm not invested in any of it.
Yeah, it becomes noise at some point.
I'm just waiting for it to end.
Just imagery. You know what I mean? Just that's all it is. Just green screen imagery. You know what I mean? It's not even real. It's just a bunch of dudes just running around in green screen all day long, and everybody just laps it up. And it's just like, it's not original storytelling. Like I said, they know these stories, and they can just pretty much just keep churning them out because they know that they're cash cows. So. And they always get great reviews and favorable. And I'm not saying they're all bad. It's just, like sometimes I see some of these, and I'm just like, how does that? I mean, this one, like I said, was like 75% or something like that overall, I think. which isn't great. You know what I mean?
No.
But most of the other ones, like the last Spider-Man, like you said, that was like a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. You know what I mean? Like everybody lapped that one up. You know what I mean? And it's like I thought it was decent. I liked it a little bit more than you did, but I didn't think it was like really this is in the same category with The Godfather.
No, it's a gimmick movie. It's a nostalgia piece. That's all it is. Yeah. It wasn't a true sequel to the first two. It was just kind of let's try to make as much money as we possibly can.
Yeah.
And tell the story that makes no sense. Tell a story that makes no sense.
And you're not going to remember those films. All these films, and I guarantee you, in 5 years, you're not going to remember any of these films because all these films are set up films for whatever's coming next. That's all they are. So you're not even going to remember this film probably in 5 years because there'll already be another Doctor Strange by that point, or he'll already be in the next Wanda film, you know what I mean, or whatever, that just completely shuts this film down. So you're not
5 days, more like it.
Yeah.
For me, anyway.
It's like I've already forgotten about it. I've already continued living my life. But
I'm excited because I saw some news articles that said I don't know if it'll actually happen, but Sam Raimi said he'd really like to do next like a movie about the size and about the type of movie of like The Gift or A Simple Plan, kind of a low budget thriller kind of movie. And I really hope he does, because this has made so much money that, he'll probably end up not doing that and doing some other gargantuan thing. But I would really love it if he'd make another one like that.
Doctor Strange descends into the multiverse, something, you know what I mean? It's going to be something else, probably something multiverse driven or whatever case may be, I'm sure. But, it's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, anything else you want to add about Doctor Strange multiverse or in the Multiverse of Madness? All right.
Nope.
Well, overall grade and face you would give this one then?
I give this a 2 out of 5, a C-. Yeah, that was my face. Or, and also a sleep face for a few minutes there.
Yeah, and fortunately, this is one of the rare times where I'm actually right on the money with you. But I also gave it 2 out of 5. It's just kind of like a slight sad face. Just because like I said, I mean, I wasn't necessarily bored or checked out watching it. I can't say that, but it just went nowhere. And I knew about midway through, I was like, I already knew. I could already predict how the story was going to go. I was like, okay, it's so low stakes. All these films are so low stakes. It's just not going to be what we thought it was going to be. So, but it is what it is. But anyways, I digress. Let us know down in the comments. Have you seen Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse of Madness? Did you like it? Did you not like it? As always, if you like the channel, we ask that you like, subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell notification, and we'll be back again soon with another show. Thank you guys for watching, and hope you have a great day. Bye.